Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, it's finally here. Thirsty Thriller Thursdays. So basically, to tell you a little bit more about Thirsty Thriller Thursdays, it's going to be, of course, me getting ready, doing my makeup, and telling you guys a ghost story, paranormal story, hauntings, things like that. And all while having a drink. I'll tell you what this is called in a minute. Today's story is actually going to be the true story of the Exorcist. We all know, the movie with the girl turning her head all around and all that. Which actually, the first time I watched this was after I did my research on this. I know. So, if you're interested, grab yourself a drink and keep on watching. So, talking about the drink, I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. It's kind of freaking cool. So this drink is called the Devil's Margarita. So I'll put all the ingredients up, but it's basically a margarita, simple margarita, no ice or anything, with red wine floated on top. And I already drank some. It's good. Anyways, cheers guys. Let's get started. So yeah, everything I'm using will actually be linked down below. Today we're focusing more on the story and me just kind of doing my makeup versus products and all that. So if you're interested, it'll be in the description box below. So our story begins in 1949. And it first takes place in Cottage City, Maryland. So there was a boy who was believed to be named Ronald, something like that, but we'll just refer to him as a boy. There's a lot of speculation on what really is his name, but we'll just keep it as the boy, because obviously if the family wanted to be known, we would know. It's more so stuff coming from the priests and their, evidence and what they said happened. So in January 1949, the boy's aunt had passed away. And she was into spiritual things, and it is said, I'm gonna keep saying probably it is said a lot, just because, when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, there isn't really facts. Let's just say it that way. There's hearsay, you know what I mean? So she said, he said, this happened, this didn't happen. So after the passing of this aunt, they started hearing sounds, scratching sounds and, water dripping and stuff like that. And they kind of, thought, oh, maybe it's mice or rats, or they kind of thought they had a pest problem, Then things started kind of getting a little worse. They kind of started noticing that, furniture was moving on its own. The little scratches and stuff turned into knocks. After a while, the mom was like, if this is you, speaking of the aunt who passed, knock 4 times. So, obviously, because the aunt had taught the boy about the Ouija board, he was probably messing around with it, trying to get in contact with her, because, he was close. That's what I think. So, the mom was like, hey, give me 4 knocks. They would hear 4 times. So it was like, okay, she's back. She's visiting us. Cool. But then I guess, things continued on. And basically they started noticing that all these weird things would happen only when the boy was around. So they're like, And when he was around, there would be vases flying across and furniture moving, and basically his bed was shaking. You know, normal stuff. So they finally were like, okay. I don't know if it was the mom, the dad, the whole family joint thing, you know, whatever. So they're like, okay, we gotta get to the bottom of this. Something ain't right here. And they decided to contact their Lutheran minister. Now, the Lutheran minister, you know, he listened to them and he's like, okay, if you guys believe it's got something to do with the boy, have him stay at my house and I'll observe him for a night and we'll go from there. Basically trying to see whether it was the house or the boy. When he had the boy at his house, he was experiencing some of the same things that, you know, the family was experiencing. And so he went back to the family and he's like, I can't do nothing for you. You're gonna have to contact a Catholic priest. So they found a local priest by the name of Father Edward Albert Hughes. And I don't know exactly what he saw or they said to him, but he went to his higher ups and he's like, we gotta perform an exorcism on this boy. And, you know, obviously from my knowledge, I mean, obviously, I don't know, I've never been through that type of thing, and I, you know. So, basically, they brought the boy to a hospital called Georgetown University Hospital. And they said, all right, this is where we're going to perform and do all we need to do. They went to the hospital and they said, all right, let's get this thing started, right? Let's have a drink, guys. A little sip, you know, a little break. I gotta say, this devil margarita, pretty good. They went, you know, to the hospital and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get her done. Basically, the exorcism was actually stopped because the boy got free of his, you know, they had him strapped down on a mattress. Some way, somehow, this is as it said, he grabbed the spring of the mattress and whipped this priest across his shoulder. Now, I don't know if they were still at the hospital or if they returned home or exactly where he was when it showed up, but a few days later, Lewis was written in scratches on the boy's body, and the mom was like, okay. So she took that as a sign that they needed to go back because they had family there, and they're like, okay, you know, what needs to happen will happen there. So the family had a cousin who ended up going to their professor and I guess spoke of what was going on. So the professor of the cousin got in contact with Father Walter Halloran and a Reverend William Bodern. I believe I'm saying that right, and if I'm not, go ahead and correct me. Sorry. I'm back. Oh, movie time magic. My crusty ass lips. Those two priests went to the president of the university. They basically spoke about like everything that was like going on with the, you know, boy, and they decided yes, an exorcism needs to be performed. Again, early March of 1949, the two priests went to the residence of the boy, and along with themselves, they brought some assistants to, help with whatever they needed. They started kind of, doing their thing, observing and all that. And they kind of noticed that, during the day, he was calm, he was cool, collected. But then when nighttime came, it was a whole nother story. He would just get into these trance-like states, throwing tantrums, wild outbreaks, screaming. So then they kind of started seeing everything that was, going on, what the family was talking about, and what was actually happening before in Maryland. So, they would see the flying objects, they would see the mattress moving, they would see all that beautiful stuff. And he would react violently to any religious objects. So during the weeks of all this going on, they actually saw an X appear on the boy's chest or body. And they were like, okay, we believe that signifies the number 10. Now, it wasn't clear when I was doing my research whether they believed that 10 meant he was possessed by 10 demons, or that the demon would leave his body in 10 days. So then another time they stated, or it is said, that they would witness pitchfork shapes move from his leg to his ankles, almost as how a snake moves. So this went on for weeks and weeks. And I guess at one point they're like, no, this is too much. It reached an unhealthy level, they say. He started urinating all over his bed, and he's cursing and just becoming more and more violent. And they're like, okay, we gotta, take this to a better suited environment to deal with what we got going on. So they decided it was time to move him to it was similar to the Georgetown University Hospital, but in St. Louis, this was the Alexandrian Brothers Hospital. So this was in late March when they brought him there. And now, they still kept on, trying to do all that they could do for the boy, trying to free him from whatever the hell was going on. And they're saying finally on April 18th, even if it was that, even if he went there the last day of March, that's still 18 days more of this. I don't know how typically they last, but I mean, from basically February to April, going through this every night. Whew. Imagine the counseling afterwards. Yeah, I got issues, I was only possessed by, some demons and shit. What? During those, 18 days, he's going through, the exorcism. They tried, to do baptisms, just trying to free this little poor boy from whatever the hell decided they wanted him. So on April 18th, it was considered to be a miracle. The boy was having seizures, and started yelling at the priests that Satan was with him. Okay. Cool fact. So I guess this was considered a breaking point for them. And they started going basically, you know, ham. They laid the boy down. They put, you know, medals and crucifixes and all the religious stuff that they could basically have with them. You know, they're yelling for St. Michael to, you know, come and save the boy's soul and just help us out, you know. So it was a battle, and they're like, St. Michael would expel Satan from this boy. And they shouted and they shouted and they shouted and they shouted. 7 minutes goes by. The boy comes to, and he's like, he's gone. Just like that. They've been fighting all this time, and now he's gone. And then he later says that he recalls seeing a vision of St. Michael and Satan on a battlefield, and basically St. Michael whooping his ass. So yeah, it was basically the end of that. And they didn't report anything else happening. They were just kind of like, nope, all good here. Sources close to the family say that the family basically went back and moved to the East Coast, and the boy later on and went and lived a pretty normal life, whatever you consider normal after that. And he is said to be married and have a little boy who he named Michael after the saint. The Alexian Brothers Hospital, the room that the exorcism was performed was actually closed, and after it happened, like, they closed that room off. Like, nobody was going in there, nothing. Priest Borden, he died in 1983, and Halloran lived until 2005. So, you know, he was the oldest, like, person that was involved in that exorcism. Like, he lived the longest out of all of them. And apparently there was 48 witnesses to this whole thing. Like, in total, there was 48 witnesses. So there's actually a book by Thomas B. Allen. It's called Possession, The True Story of an Exorcism, which relies heavily on the accounts of Halloran. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, and I apologize. So the author Allen actually claims that he knows the true identity of the boy, but he'll never reveal it. You know, of course, with things like this that happen that aren't scientific or proven by science, they actually, you know, you get skeptics. So there's two guys who are more famously known for, you know, trying to gather evidence to disprove any claims, and their names are Mark Opsanak and Joe Nickel. So Mark and Joe, they did their research to disprove anything that happened. And they said, you know, basically it was made up mainly by the boy. That, you know, the boy was known around the neighborhood to, you know, fool the kids and really, like, do pranks on his mom, and that he was spoiled. And because he wasn't getting what he wanted, you know, a young teenage boy who was, you know, determined, could, you know, scratch himself before they got in, or, you know, somehow do some contraptions to make stuff move. And basically they say there's no credible evidence besides a boy throwing a tantrum. That's what they say. I mean, what do you guys think? I believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. Oh. So yeah, that's the story, you know. I figure I would do something that is well known because of the movie, and some people actually don't realize that it's based off of true events, just like a lot of movies are. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time, and I hope you come back for more. You know, also disclaimer, only drink if you're 21 and older, okay? Let's put that out there. I should have said it earlier, but I didn't. Sorry. I kind of got this idea from a YouTuber called Bailey Sarian. Now, she does sitting down and doing her makeup, but she actually talks about, you know, true crimes. And, you know, I find that very interesting as well. But obviously, if I do that, I'm just like completely taking her whole spiel of her idea. So I just wanted to say that. It's really awesome. I love her personality. So check her out. Like, her series is called Murder Mystery Makeup Mondays. So search by that and you'll... So yeah, guys, that is the video. That is the story. I hope you come back next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring a bell, you know, ding, ding, ding. So that way, you know, you can be notified. And check me out on Instagram. I will link it down below. And thank you guys so much for sticking with me. And see you next time. Bye.